Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is with us from the Capitol. Senator Graham, good morning.
Good morning.
You are quoted as saying that you thought that the opening statement by James Comey was a good thing, a day, you said, a pretty good day for the president.
Right.
Why'd you say it?
Well, number one, in the statement, Comey said that the president's not a target or subject to an investigation, counterintelligence, criminal or otherwise, regarding Russian collusion as of this moment. Now, something may happen later, but as of right now, this moment, the president's not under investigation for colluding with Russia. And unless Mueller is a complete idiot, which he is not, he's concluded there's no obstruction of justice case, because if he had concluded otherwise, Comey wouldn't be testifying. You wouldn't let your chief and only witness go through this process if you really believed you had a case to prosecute, and Mr. Mueller is a good prosecutor.
Adam Schiff on this program this morning said, I would have to strongly disagree with my colleague Lindsey Graham. The fact that Bob Mueller is not worried about his testifying, I think that does not suggest anything about how Bob Mueller views the case. Indeed, I would be astonished if he had a view this early.
That's crazy. I've been a prosecutor. Yeah. No, Schiff's not crazy. The analysis is crazy. I've been a prosecutor, defense attorney, and a military judge. Nobody in their right mind who believed they had a case would take their star witness and allow them to go before the nation and 20 senators. You just don't do it that way. So he's concluded, I think rightly, there's no obstruction of justice here. To think otherwise really is silly. And at the end of the day, Comey's actions tend to suggest that he didn't believe the president committed a crime.
Senator, is it okay for the President of the United States to invite the FBI director for a private dinner, ask him does he want his job, and then say to him, I need your loyalty? Is that okay to do?
No, half of what Trump does is not okay. If you're trying to convict him for being a bull in a china shop, crude and rude, you'd win. I mean, you know, no.
But doesn't that trouble you? Doesn't that trouble you? And
I think that
a lot of his stuff troubles me, but it's not a crime.
Yeah, the question is not about crude or rude. The question is about not only appropriateness, but legality. And let me ask you this. James Comey, in his testimony, specifically accuses the president of asking him to drop the investigation against Michael Flynn.
Right.
The president himself was asked about this on May 18th in the White House in a joint presser, where he was asked, did you in any way, shape or form ask to close down the investigation into Michael Flynn? The president responded, no, no. Who do you believe is lying, the former FBI director or the president of the United States?
Well, I think if you look at Comey's statement, he said, well, maybe he had a different view of this than I did. I think what Trump was trying to do is help Flynn because he thought he had already been punished enough. But you also got to remember that Comey, under oath on May the 3rd, testified there was no pressure or interference applied to this investigation by anyone. That was before he's fired. Now that he's been fired, he has a different story to tell. But here's the deal. When Comey was asked under oath, has anybody tried to interfere with this investigation, he said no. The story described by Comey is disturbing. It was inappropriate by the president to put him in this situation.
So the question is, what would be necessary in your eyes to take what we already know and make it obstruction of justice?
For the FBI director acted consistent with it being obstruction of justice by going to the Department of Justice, reporting a crime, resigning, or pursuing charges. There's no way you'll ever convince me that the FBI director, the top of the legal chain, thought this was obstruction of justice, because if he had thought that, he would have done something differently.
So based on what you know, you see no obstruction of justice?
I don't see obstruction of justice. I don't see any collusion by Trump. You know, Trump can't collude with his own government, so I doubt if he's colluding with the Russians. So here's the deal. Keep looking. Find out what's out there. I think what bothers me the most about President Trump and Russia is his weak and naive response to Russia's interference in our election. He seems to have a view of Putin as disconnected from everybody else in Washington, and that really bothers me. But let this investigation go forward. Let Mueller go forward. But I want to tell your audience, in my mind, there is no evidence of collusion. If you don't believe me, ask Comey. And there's no way this is obstruction of justice, because Mueller wouldn't let him testify.
Then let me ask you this, Senator. Do you believe there was an effort by the Russians to compromise the incoming president? In other words, we learned from this opening testimony that James Comey first met Donald Trump at January 6th at at Trump Tower in which he talked about this salacious and unverified document. He said he went because the head of the DNI said, I should meet with him one-on-one, privately tell him that they have this stuff on him, and they may use it to, in his words, compromise an incoming president. Does that concern you?
Yeah, I saw that document long before it was you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was given to Senator McCain, and I looked at it and I said, oh, wow. But here, this Trump fever, people say, why are you defending Trump? I've been getting really suspicious of all things Russia here. The details of that document haven't been corroborated. As of this day, we now know nobody can prove that Trump colluded with the Russians. And Representative Schiff aside, I believe that Mueller would not let Comey come forward if he believed this was obstruction of justice. Now, the business ties, I've been suspicious about the Trump world and Russia financing. I've yet to see anything. Let's keep looking. And if I were the president, I'd get back to governing. But from a legal point of view, I think Comey has probably helped the president. From a political point of view, he's in a box. Most Americans don't trust him on Russia. 70% of the people don't believe that he's telling the truth about Russia, and that's going to hurt the president. The best thing he could do is push back against Putin and realize that the mess you're in, Mr. President, is caused by Putin's interference in our election. He's providing arms to the Taliban. He aided and abetted Assad's chemical attack against young children that made you so mad. You're misjudging Putin.
Thank you, Senator. It's great to have you.
Yeah, great to have you, Senator.